Okay, so I actually proposed the committee, but it was it took a number of years. We had done a program a few years back through the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Law section talking actually similar to a topic we just had now, the ethics of representing cannabis clients. And so we did that as our initial topic because it wasn't really an FDA issue because the Food and Drug Administration is saying it's an illegal product. There was no approved product that was using cannabis. Now there is, but at that point there wasn't. And so we thought it was a little bit too early to be a food and drug law issue. But I told individuals who were interested, and I said, you should form a committee because a committee in the state bar is essentially a way to have a cross-cutting kind of program or platform where you can involve IP attorneys, FDA attorneys, healthcare attorneys, real estate attorneys, environmental attorneys, I mean, the food, trust and estates attorneys, labor law attorneys. Cannabis is one of those kind of topics that really is very cross-cutting and involves all these legal disciplines. And it's not really FDA is one component, but it's not the whole picture, and so it made more sense to have that kind of structure. What happened is the group never really coalesced to form the committee. Years later, it sort of re-emerged through other leadership where folks were again talking about it. Again, I was trying to say you should form a committee, here's the process, here's how you do it. And no one actually stepped up to do it, so I said, all right, let me draft it for you. So I drafted the proposal. I then went and pitched it to the executive committee. There were supposed to be other people with me. Unfortunately, due to constraints in their clients and through court cases, they weren't able to come, so it was just me. But so back in June, under Sharon Stern-Gerstmann, I proposed the committee to be formed. It was agreed to the executive committee to be formed. And then we essentially had our end of October last year, we sort of got our first roster for membership, and our first annual program started in January of last year. And since then, we've put on 4 different CLE programs. This is our 4th, now 5th, I guess, coming on. So we've been very active, and we're starting to work now on legislative activities as well. So what we did as part of the outreach was to form something called the Friends of the Committee of Cannabis Law. So essentially, anybody can join who's a NISBA member through that community. And as well, we also create liaisons for all the different sections that are members within the committee. So if you want to reach out and get involved, you just reach out to your liaison who's with your section. And again, it gives you some value of your section membership to be involved in the committee without being directly a committee member. So I think that this is a growing area of law, actually, and it's also something people have to be careful about. That's why the ethics issue becomes very important, and how you represent and what kind of clients you can represent and the parameters around that. And plus, everyone is just trying to learn about what's happening in the field, what are the new developments, and it's important to not just understand your own disciplinary area, which could be IP, it could be FDA, it could be whatnot. You learn how these things interrelate, and you also make contacts for learning to get, maybe for clients, for maybe I can do the FDA issue, someone else does the real estate issue. You have ways of connecting out to other attorneys and represent your clients. Well, I think at some juncture we're going to become a section. It's a kind of thing that over time, because there's so much interest, as you can see today, we have a packed house. We had, I think, originally a maximum set for 70. We extended it to 79. I think they're now the 90 that was our real maximum that are in the probably maybe more, maybe 100. And so we need a bigger room for next year, and that just shows there's a lot of interest in this topic. And last year we had maybe about 65, 70 people. So definitely it's of growing interest. And so I think it's only going to grow, and particularly today there's an announcement that was just made, and I looked at some of the statements that were made from the governor in terms of what their plan is for adult use for cannabis, and that's going to open up a whole new area of law to look into how that's going to be implemented along with the medical marijuana programs, and also how FDA and other regulatory agencies such as the DEA are going to be interacting and play into that.